This is my review of the Gettysburg National Military Park Museum and Visitor Center. First of all, any of the thing I say is not aimed at any of the staff. I believe they do an excellent job. This is mostly aimed at the changes that have been made at the Visitor Center since the opening and construction of a new Visitor Center several years ago. I love the Gettysburg area. It's a really beautiful area. I'd love to live down there someday. And I love the battlefield. But recently we went down on a Saturday. It's been a few years since I got to go to the battlefield for a variety of reasons, work, sometimes you just don't get to go. So they've opened this new visitor center, and first problem we ran into was we went on a Saturday. There was absolutely no parking anywhere near the visitor center available. Now I realize Gettysburg is undergoing a whole major return to the battlefield, reconstruction phase, whatever you want to call it. We walked a half mile from the overflow lot, which was near the old visitor center. And I'll be honest with you, we did not expect it. Now, there was some sort of bus running, and I honestly don't know what that was for, if it costed money. But long story short, if you can't get close parking, there is a significant walk. And I think people need to be warned about that. We absolutely didn't expect it. And what particularly irritated me was they do have a few reserve lots. One of them is for eco cars, like cars that use flex fuel, which frankly kind of bothered me because, that's nice, but you have a major parking problem at a large visitor center. You need to take a hard look at what you're doing. So we made the walk, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a big guy. I don't deny that. It was a bit of a taxing walk in some ways. There are hills, so you might, if you're watching this video and you're planning on going, keep that in mind. So we got there, and the first big difference is the old visitor center was pretty much free except for the electronic map. This one, it now costs you $12.50 to see the Cyclorama, which before was in a separate building and I believe did cost money, and a film, and the museum itself. We had AAA, which thankfully saved us $1 a person. I think I'm going to sum up my fee later on in the video, but frankly, at this point, the fee was just not worth it. And this is where it's going to start, going down here a little bit. And, my first complaint, we'll start with the film was fine. There was, no real problem with the film. It has Morgan Freeman, I believe, narrating it. And it was kind of interesting, but then we go to the Cyclorama. And the first big thing we notice, now the Cyclorama has been restored, and it definitely looks better. The painting, it definitely did a good job there. But the problem is when you're in the Cyclorama, and if there's people there, a lot of people, you literally can't get a whole experience of viewing it. Now, there was a huge stink about closing the Cyclorama. There's a whole debate there. I'm not going to get into that. But the biggest problem, but the old center, you could actually have a lot of people in there and actually have a clear view of the painting. For the new version, which you can tell it's probably that right there, like I said, there's a lot of people standing in front of you. Now, they added some, diorama features to it, almost like a set. But it was hard to see. There are pictures, there are pictures of the painting down after you exit the exhibit that actually give you a better grasp of the painting than being next to it and seeing it yourself. And that was our first frustration. The second frustration is the museum itself. The museum, and I'm going to show you a picture of what it used to look like, had a lot of character. Yeah, at times it was a little crowded. They were having trouble storing things, and a move was necessary, but the inside, the outside, the whole thing had a lot of character. It was organized. Aside from being crowded, it was a little crowded. It was really well organized, and it had a lot of stuff. And we started going into the museum portion at the new center, and honestly, they made it kind of new museum-ish, and it feels like there's a lot less material of view, like guns. It's hard to describe because the old center was pretty well packed together, but it feels like there's a lot less artifacts and stuff like that. And they've said it's because they want to rotate, exhibits, features. I don't think it was effective. I walked through there in about... The old museum, you could spend hours. You could spend hours looking at all the exhibits. The new one, I spent about 15 minutes. I'm like, why am I here? And unfortunately, other people in the party, my parents were with us. My dad kind of felt the same way, and he actually said at first, like, why? What are we doing right now? Why are we here? And yeah, it was honestly a waste of money because the museum didn't get better; it actually got worse. And now they had supposedly a special exhibit area that honestly I was not impressed by. There really wasn't anything in there that, added to the experience. And it went from something, both buildings before went from something that was unique, interesting, had a lot of character, to, a place with limited parking, and frankly a fee that's not really worth it. I mean, there's some museums downtown. Now, it's been a few years since I've been through the Wax Museum. And the last time I was there, they were having some problems, and I don't know if they've corrected or not. But I think the Wax Museum better, describes the battle and all the stuff of the Civil War right now than this museum with a lot of financial backing. And then I'm going to cover the gift shop, but the first thing that bothers me about the gift shop, and I realize you're not going to get like super cheap gifts there, is I saw the movie Gettysburg, and I believe it's, let's just make sure we get the movie title right, Gods and Generals. They wanted $20 each for the movie on DVD. I didn't even look at Blu-ray price. I'm going to pull the sheet back now, and you'll notice Amazon wants $14.99 for both movies combined. And if you'll take a look down there, you'll notice new from roughly $4. I paid $5 for a combo pack. That really, really smells of, unfortunately, a ripoff. And I don't like saying that. I don't like... And there were other times. My brother wanted a souvenir mug. My mom noticed it cost about $26 in this visitor center. Well, down at the Wax Museum, it cost $12. There's some problems here. This isn't so hot. Now, I picked up some commemorative coinage. We're just going to move this down here. You'll notice this is a 4 set. You had a choice. You could buy... You had a choice. You could either buy them 3 for $10 or 1 for $5. So to get the full set, it was $15. And you'll notice I did collect the whole set. And I actually thought this was maybe the best value in the visitor center gift shop. And you'll notice there's the back. They're all the same roughly. I didn't walk out with a lot of other things. In fact, I was just hoping to, get out and get to the battlefield. So, my final thoughts are, I still love the battlefield. It's a really great place to go. The visitor center, unfortunately, took a major step backwards, at least in my opinion. You know, I realize they're trying to restore the battlefield, so that's why the Cyclorama was finally torn down. But it seems like this setup was not at all well thought out. And honestly, it's expensive to attend now. The location is poor. Parking is poor. All I can say is if you're going to go, make sure to use your AAA discount. Make sure to not pay full price going in there. I would not pay full price to visit the Cyclorama, the film, and the museum anymore. It has unfortunately kind of evolved into a tourist trap. And that's disappointing because the old location was super awesome. And it was really fun to go through. And it had, again, all this character that this one just doesn't really have. I was actually disappointed by my experience. And it's not the staff's fault. They do a good job. I asked several questions. I actually went and asked to make sure that we saw the full museum, that there wasn't additional floors. And, well, yeah, there wasn't. We saw it. We made our walk back to the car, which there is an uphill grade. That's something you want to keep an eye on. We did not see that coming. You know, we had to walk all the way back to the overflow parking, which is a solid half mile. And overall, I found the new visitor center, you know, rather disappointing. I didn't expect this, and, you know, that's kind of why I'm making this video. A little bit of a warning video for maybe people who have been to Gettysburg before. I was here several times before this. It had been a few years since they put the new center up. I had not seen it yet. Now that I have, I'm honestly gonna look into see what other museums are around, because for $12 we can probably see something better and a lot more entertaining in Gettysburg than, unfortunately, this visitor center. Have a good one.